Hello folks, welcome back to, I'm going to call this video 1 of my series. I'll call the first one the introduction. But we're going to delve into arithmetic here, and we've already defined it as the art of figuring. And what I mean by figuring is calculating. You know, this is the area of mathematics that a calculator, hence good old Casio FX260, which the state of Ohio, and I don't know about other states, allows you to use on the GED test, which we'll explore in detail later. Arithmetic is what that calculator does for you, but when you're in a situation where you don't have a calculator, you need to know how to manually go through and deal with calculating value. And what I mean by calculating is the basic operations of adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing, which look like those for now. So we're going to start this thing out really basic and get a really good foundation built here. And we're going to first, the thing I really like to dwell on is that everything is in terms of value. And I'm going to draw not the male symbol here, I'm going to do a number line, as in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, infinity. Okay? And when we deal with arithmetic and we're calculating values, you first have to understand that we as human beings put things in terms of whole items and parts of items. Be it, we could be talking about books in a library, students in a classroom, amount of money in the bank. It just depends on what we're talking about. We're just talking about value, meaning what something is worth. This is just a very broad, general calculating of generic values. And one of the biggest mistakes I think people make is they overcomplicate this. This is nothing. This could be anything. We're just talking about amounts of things. Whole items such as one student, 2 students, 3 groups of people, 5 orders of burritos, whatever, and parts of things. These would be values that fall in between whole items. Now, this whole subject of infinity comes up, which can get into some really deep conversations, I guess, if I wanted to sit here and rhetorically talk to myself about the concept of infinity being going on forever large, as well as you've got infinity that exists in a small fashion as well. As in, well, first let's just talk about what I mean by small. How small can something be? Well, we're going to talk about things that aren't whole items, obviously. We're going to talk about parts. So when I say parts, we as human beings talk about these parts in 3 different languages, if you will. We either talk about them as fractions, decimals, or percents. I hope you can read my writing. I'm kind of messy here. Like I said, my board's not very big. Fractions, decimals, and percents are the 3 ways that like I said, we communicate and we talk about parts of things. And this gets into what I think a lot of people are very scared of is their ability and their confidence to calculate things that aren't nice, whole, even things. Whole items, I'll just give you a quick rundown right here. When we say whole items and calculating whole items, we'll do these things that I'm sure a lot of you are competent in already. We're talking about adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing whole items. So let's explore that rather quickly. Go back to our little chart. 21 plus 16, 241 minus 97. We'll do a multiplying and dividing as well. We'll do that. We'll do multiplying and dividing as well. We'll do 17 times 14. And we will do 265 divided by, let's say, 5. There we go. We'll keep things nice and even. And I told you this was going to start rather basic, so let's talk about this. This would be adding up values, accumulating 21 of something with 16 of something, And the format that we use, that I've been taught to use, and I'm going to show you, is, we could get into the whole subject of place value. These are your 1s and your 10s and so on. I'm going to kind of take it that watching this video series, this is as basic as I want to start it. If you need any further explanation of that, email me and we can talk about exploring even more basic concepts of amounts and mathematics. But this is the idea. 6 and 1 is 7. 2 and 1 is 3. So 21 of something added with 16 of something is 37 of that item. Okay. If we had 241 of something and we wanted to remove 97 of it, this will get us into some borrowing here. A lot of people, sometimes we need to review this stuff. These place values, every 10 of these is one of these. So if you have 7 being taken away from 1 of something, which you can't do, this 4 of this tens column is actually 40 of these. So we can remove 10 of them by borrowing and making that a 3, and that 10, or the 10 ones we borrowed from there, we would represent with a 1 here to make that 11. And 11 minus 7 is 4. 3 minus 9, once again we have to borrow from the 2, make it a 1. 13, we would make that 13 of the tens, and 13 subtracting 9 would leave us with 4. And then we have 1 subtracting nothing, which leaves us with 144. Which, by accident, brought up a little math trivia for you. Some terminology. This is called a gross, by the way. If you ever have 144 items, that's actually 12 dozen. 12 12s, which kind of gets us into some multiplication, which we're going to talk about now. So just a tidbit of information. There's kind of some ironic math knowledge just popping out at you. We're going to multiply now. Now multiplication is really the place that separates someone who's going to be successful and math is going to become much easier for them, or this is where it gets extremely hard. 0 through 10 multiplication tables, meaning all of the digits 0 through 10 multiplied with themselves and the others 0 through 10. It becomes vital that you memorize, your basic multiplication facts, which I may put a supplemental video on about learning multiplication facts later. But I want to kind of keep this moving along here in this arithmetic video, because I don't want to have too many videos. So I can talk more about the multiplication facts, but basically memorizing that 4 times 7 is 28, so that you can do your math this way. And we're going to 4 times 1 is 4, and 2 is 6, and then 1 times 7 is 7, and 1 times, was that a 1? Yeah, I believe so, is 1. And we end up at the bottom of my paper again, adding up 8, 7 and 6, 13, and 1 and 1 is 238. And you'll notice the format is you multiply this number with both of these coming across the first row, and then when you move over to the second number and multiply it with these two top ones, you drop down and over a column and write your digits there and add it up. Okay, so anyway. Long division is also something a lot of times that students need to practice on calculating manually, and we won't get into the whole quotient and dividend terminology. We're just going to say we've got 265 items that we're going to split into 5 groups. Well, the format that most people use and that I recommend we use is you'll say, okay, well, 5 go into 2. And keep in mind, this is 265 divided by 5 that would be written like this laterally. And I have so many students who say 265 divided by 5, and then you automatically read this 5 divided by 265, but this is being divided by this. So anyway, just thought I would throw that out there. 5 into 2, no, it won't go. 5 into 26 will go 5 times, because 5 times 5 is 25. We're going to subtract now and get 1 left over. And once we've subtracted our quantity from that multiplication, we then drop this number down one at a time as we go across. Of course, there's only 1 to drop down here. So we drop that 5 down. We have 5 into 15 3 times. 3 times 5 is 15. And we end up with 0 as a remainder. Now, in the next video series, when we start talking about parts of things, I'm going to tell you how our elementary school teachers all lied to us by telling us there were these things called remainders, which we didn't get one here. But if we were to get a remainder, I want you to know that those are fake, and our elementary school teachers lied to us because they are not a useful form of part of something. So that said, there's a very brief basic introduction to adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing whole numbers, in which case I will supplement these videos with some areas you can go to practice these things. And like I said, any questions, you can always email me.